Now, we can get a better idea of how we're going to refine this definition of validity by looking at a bunch of examples of valid arguments. And here are a bunch that I want to take a look at. First, let's take a look at all men are mortal. Socrates is a man, therefore Socrates is mortal. And we're going to be asking ourselves, what do all these arguments share that makes them valid? Take a look. All politicians are dishonest. Abraham Lincoln was a politician. Therefore, Abraham Lincoln was dishonest. And notice, in the case of that first argument, we're going to say, gee, we decided it was valid, and it has true premises, so it's sound. But in this case, it looks like a valid argument, but some people are going to have some objections to some of the premises, or one in particular. That is, students might think that there are many politicians that are dishonest, but not all of them. Maybe the lone exception was, President Lincoln. Or looking at the second one, all professional basketball players are tall. Talking about Kobe Bryant, is a professional basketball player, therefore Kobe is tall. Presents some difficulty in some people's eyes. They're always worried about the meaning, tall. What does tall mean? I mean, Kobe Bryant isn't tall for a basketball player. He's certainly tall compared to short people like me. But I think even looking at average size people, professional basketball players in general are tall, and Kobe Bryant is really tall. The conclusion follows, but again, people are going to say, gee, they're going to give examples. There used to be a player maybe about 20 years ago, a guy named Muggsy Bogues, was a great point guard, but a short guy. I think he was about 5'6" or 5'7", shorter than me. So they're worried about that first premise, but we still think that there's a good connection between those premises and that conclusion. And finally, on this last argument, all students who got an A in the course bribed the professor. Stephen got an A in the course. Therefore, Stephen bribed the professor. Maybe some of you think that this is true. It certainly sounds like something that maybe you heard from one of your classmates who was not happy with the grade that he received. And then you say, all students who got an A in the course bribed the professor. You say, well, gee, well, does the professor take bribes? I do take bribes, as I've told you in the past, but it has to be $10 million or more. And if you're crazy enough to bribe me, that kind of money for an A in this course, I might have to consider compromising my principles. Don't go to the dean. Calm yourselves down. Plenty of students get A's in the course and do not bribe the professor. Nobody's bribed the professor. They haven't even tried to bribe me. I guess maybe I've set the price too high. But notice what's interesting about this set of arguments is they're valid, but they're not sound. That is, they have a false premise.